At this point, any sympathy I did have for Will Smith is out the window. If he wants to be treated like a piece, that's his business. Me personally, nah, bruh. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. And plus, he's not completely a saint anyway, when you think about it, because he done had his, if the stories are to be believed, he has had his share of flings and shit too. Unless he's just trying to take some heat off of Jada. Why, I don't know. So unless he's trying to take some heat off of his ass, he at this point we can stop, like Regina said, we can stop feeling sorry for him at this point, because that, and I'm gonna be a little Prince for a second. That had all kinds of warning signs that this woman is no good. He's had kind of warning signs, not just in recent years, for several years. Even if you go back and look closely at some of the ways she treated him, even all the way back to when they were first dating. And in all honesty, let's just be honest, Will is not innocent in this either, because he's the one that practically pushed himself up on her. If stories are to be believed, if Jada and a couple of other people backed her up on this story as well, if stories are to be believed, it was Will that kind of pushed up on her. She said a long time ago he wasn't his type, her type. Yet the only reason I think she went ahead with it is because of who he was. And let's be honest. And here's the thing that people don't realize. People think Will Smith has always been this big star. No. In fact, when they first met, when they first got together, Jada was, I know that some people don't want to admit this, they want to think like, oh, Jada's trash, she ain't never been. That's not true. In fact, when she first got with Will Smith, Jada was actually the bigger star, because the only thing of note that he had up to that point was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, his rap career, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and really Independence Day. That's all he really had at that point. But as time went on, he became the bigger, bankable star. And actually, and this is a little forgotten thing that people forget, but I remember him doing an interview saying this. He was actually done with rap. He didn't even want to go back into rap music. It was Jada that pushed him back. And at the time, I thought that was a positive thing, because actually he was, and a lot of people want to diss Will Smith on his rap music, but he is actually a pretty good rapper. And honestly, if he really wanted to, when it comes to, let's say, a diss track, if he really wanted to, he could probably rip some of these cats to shreds if he really wanted to. But he's got to keep up that clean, nice guy image that he's put himself in. Much like, that's why I often called him the Bill Cosby of rap. Although I will say that Will didn't try to be as much of a moral authority figure as Bill did. But basically, he was basically the same thing. You know, so clean cut. Looked like the man and stuff. But as we're finding out, there was a lot behind those eyes, even back then. Now, am I taking blame off Jada? Hell no. I ain't taking no blame off Jada. But Will Smith, as we're finding out more and more, he's not blameless either. And not just because he won't dump Jada. He's not blameless in this whole thing. He has had affairs himself. The difference is, and the reason that nobody really goes in on Will Smith as much as they do Jada, Will, for the most part, has kept silent. For the most part. he has kept quiet about his, shall we say, transgressions. Jada's the one that's out here running her mouth. And could it be narcissism? Sure. But I also think a little bit of it is resentment, because like I said, when they first met, she's the one that had the bigger career. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but she actually had the bigger career at that point between the two of them. But over time, he overtook her, starting with Independence Day and on. In fact, I don't even think they were together when he did Independence Day. They weren't even together at that point. I think he was still with his first wife. But yeah, there have been rumors for years about him having affairs, not only with women, but with dudes. I mean, see the stories about him and Dwayne Martin, Tisha Campbell's ex, who, quite frankly, if the Hollywood stories are to be believed, he's more trifling than Will. He's right there with Jada as far as being a trifling bud. He's right there. So at this point, we can pretty much stop feeling sorry for him. He created his hell. He chose to live it in his hell. We need to quit calling him and just basically do the Bill Cosby, the episode with Elvin, where he told him the advice about arguing with your wife, especially with Sandra specifically. The whole, when he threw his head back and his hands up. That's what we need to do concerning Will and Jada. I mean, at this point, we can stop coddling Will Smith. Any man that will go up and smack another man on national television when they weren't even together at that point, if Jada is to be believed, they weren't even together. And basically, it took that to get Jada's attention. Basically, it wasn't even about the fact that he insulted his wife, really. It was about he was trying to get his woman back. He was trying to get his woman. Will, if you have to do that to get your lady back, you don't need her. Because any woman that really loves you would not even put you in that position to feel like you are going to do that to begin with. Maybe he wants to be a woman. Maybe he likes having no balls. I don't know.
I really don't know. Maybe he does like that. But yeah. Basically, he tried to be the black dude that she wants, or the man that she wants. And that's a mistake. If you got to change yourself to get a woman, or I would even say this to a woman concerning another man. If you got to change yourself to do that, you don't need them in your life. You need to cut them out. You need to cut them out of your life because they're not worth it. They are not worth it. If you got to change yourself like that radical to get a woman's attention, I mean, you gotta cut her loose, and gotta cut her loose. In my opinion, you gotta cut her loose, cause and let's just tell some quick truth on Tupac. As much as I love Tupac, let's be honest. Towards the end, anyway, he was becoming sort of a pookie anyway, getting involved in these gang beefs and stuff. And in all honesty, let's tell something else. If this story is to be believed, Will Smith has always had a jealous nature. Even at that point, the concept of California Love, the famous song with Tupac and Dr. Dre, that famous song, the video, the Mad Max video, remember that? She was actually supposed to be in it, but Will forbade it. Jada decided Jada decided to go along with her man and tell Tupac, I don't want to be in the video. Well, allegedly, Tupac basically cussed her out and called her a sellout. And it was basically a real bad fight between the two. And you could see, and I think it's one of the few times Jada is actually being real. I think she sincerely, if it's true, I think she sincerely regrets it and probably hates Will even more because of that. But again, I can't feel sorry for neither one because you're grown folks. You're both adults. You're both grown. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. You won't do it. So, you know what? You suffer the consequences. That's really all I got to say on this. Unless something really, really explosive or big happens, I'm going to do my best to avoid talking about these two, at least as a main subject, again. Because both of these people are attention mongers. Both of them have egos. Both of them are narcissistic. And quite frankly, neither one deserves to be coddled or defended. My viewpoint on that. Anyway, I'm out. Okay, I just found out about this. And it's funny since I actually was working when this interview was on, but I didn't pay much attention to it because at this point I'm trying to tune out anything involving Jada Pinkett Smith. But basically, the interview that she did with Hoda Kotb, in which she clearly said that we have been separated since 2016. Now all of a sudden she's trying to walk back and says, "Oh, we're actually, working on being together, but that got lost in translation." Pretty much throwing Hoda Kotb under the bus. You don't believe me? Listen to this.
Find another great love, or if Will finds another great love.
There's no finding another great love, and I think that's the point. It's like we are in a place now that we are in a deep healing space, and we are really concentrating on healing the relationship between us.
So it may not be the divorce on paper anymore?
There's no divorce on paper.
I mean, not on paper. There might not be a divorce in theory anymore?
Yeah, no, we really have been working hard.
Oh.
See?
Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
I was trying to take. Well,
Wait.
totally missed that on the whole. That's the whole thing.
So wait. Just so I'm 100% clear, you were divorced, not on paper, but now we might be a point where we're back together.
We are working very hard at bringing our relationship together.
Back to a marriage again.
Back to a life partnership. Yes, because here's the thing about husband-wife marriage for me, my healing process. I came into that with very specific ideas, right? Very specific ideas that were blocks to me just seeing Will as who he is. Yeah. He can't be this perfect, idealized husband.
Yes, of course.
I have to be able to accept him for the human that he is. He accepts me for the human that I am, and we want to love each other there.
Okay, so you might live in the same house and have the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then that's the only part. That's the only part in the special that I felt like got lost.
Well, guess what? It is found. We found it.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm telling lies, as CM Punk would say. But didn't this bald-headed little midget just try to throw Hoda Kotb under the bus, saying she heard wrong? Yet in the previous interview, she said exactly that. I'm just gonna say this, and yes, I do mean to rhyme that time. Hoda Kotb has got a lot of class, but quite frankly, she should have told Jada Pinkett Smith to kiss her long-legged Egyptian